Well, I told Roy to check in with you after he makes the delivery. Yeah, do me a favor. If the harbor master gives him any trouble, let me know. No, I gotta go. Somebody's at the door. All right. Yeah.
Miss Davis.
Okay.
Have you ever considered an intercom system? It would be a lot more dignified than yelling through the doors.
Can I get you something to drink?
Thank you, that would be nice. Just water, please.
So, what'd you need to see me about?
So I assume you got your court order.
It came yesterday.
Good. So you know that Carly has 24 hours to report for DNA testing. So do you.
Just tell me when and where. I'm there.
They're going to call me sometime this afternoon at General Hospital. They'll call me with an exact time.
Okay, what happens after the tests come back?
We're going to petition the court to list you as father. That's the easy part. Sonny custody is going to be a lot more difficult. Because if Carly chooses to remain married to AJ, it could come down to a hearing to determine which environment is best for the child. So let me ask you. If you were the judge, where would you place your child? With the Quartermaines or with you?
What project has you so engrossed? Oh, are those the plans for the new baby's nursery?
I'm just putting together some ideas, you know, sort of daydreaming. I used to do it when I was a kid, you know. I'd go through magazines and pull out pictures of things I knew that I could never have.
But you can have them now. You and your child can have anything you desire.
As long as I stay put and do what I'm told.
You make it sound like a prison sentence. Now, few mothers can provide a home like Michael has. And I'm sure that the new baby will be happy here also.
Could you stop saying that, Edward? New baby? I mean, you make my kid sound like it's a car you're gonna buy. Jason hated that. And I understand why now.
It's funny that you should mention Jason. Do you speak to him?
No.
I wonder. You know, it occurred to me, if Jason got you pregnant, he wouldn't claim the baby. He would send his best friend to do it. And knowing how much we despise Corinthos, and knowing that we would probably just kick you out and not even fight to keep the baby. But you see, Jason couldn't carry off that kind of a lie. No. So it stands to reason that he would leave town and leave you and Corinthos, the more practiced liars, to deceive the rest of us.
It's a good theory. But unfortunately, it's not true. Sonny's the one that asked for the DNA test, and it'll show that he's the father.
Well, nevertheless, our attorneys have taken the precaution of insisting that the test be administered at General Hospital. There's less opportunity for Corinthos to bribe that way. And I'll go along with you myself just to be sure that things run smoothly, you know?
What do you mean smoothly? What do you think I'm going to do, Edward? Do you think I'm going to stop by a clinic and steal somebody else's DNA?
Nothing you do would surprise me, dear. Now, obviously, you are determined to break free of this family. But you remember this. Michael remains, no matter what. He is a Quartermaine, after all.
Edward, that will be quite enough.
Lila, Carly and I were just discussing the new...
What?
Michael's little brother or sister.
I know perfectly well you were bullying her, and I wanted to stop at once.
Lila, it is best for everyone if Carly understands her situation. Now, you can deal with your problems any way you see fit, but Michael remains here.
Oh, why don't you go for a walk, Edward? Your doctor says you need exercise.
Wouldn't it just be simpler to tell me when I'm not wanted? Now, you let me know when you're ready to leave for the hospital.
No, Reginald's going to drive me, and I'd rather be alone, actually.
As you wish.
Thank you.
It's no bother.
How come you still stick up for me? Even though I disappointed you and hurt people that you care about. It doesn't matter. Nobody else ever does that for me, you know, except Jason. You're like him. I keep thinking if Jason would come back, you know, he'd fix everything. He'd tell Sonny that he doesn't have to take away our baby, and your family doesn't have to take Michael either. Do you think you could you please tell Edward that for me?
This child is a product of adultery. Now, that's a legal position, not a moral one. But the law is going to be sympathetic to the wrong party, and in this case, that's AJ. Now, as long as he's willing to act as father, the burden is on you to prove that he and Carly are unfit.
AJ's a drunk who slammed his brother's head into a tree. Carly shot somebody in open court. How much more do I gotta prove?
How did your wife die, Mr. Corinthos? She was pregnant at the time, wasn't she? And wasn't your residence the target of machine gun fire?
My last residence, my current residence, has bulletproof glass.
Wrong answer. You don't want to tell a judge how you're going to protect your child. You want to tell the judge how your child will never, ever be in any danger.
Is there any point to this?
The point is, this is going to be a long and a very hard fight. The Quartermaines are going to bring up everything that you have ever done. Are you prepared for that?
Well, you keep talking about, my rights and ages. What about the kids? I mean, he didn't ask to be born. I helped create him. Can't I give him something, a chance to grow up in a life without fear? Quartermaines don't want my child. They only want to protect Michael. And who knows how long they're going to hold on to Carly or where she'll go next. What if she meets up with some guy who doesn't like my kid? Boy. My child will not be trapped, will not be alone, with no way to defend himself or to have to take what some bastard does to him. This baby is going to be safe and is going to be loved, no matter what I have to do.
Were you ever physically abused as a child?
How long before I can file for custody? Do I have to wait till after the baby's born or whatever?
You didn't answer my question.
This isn't about me. It's about the kids.
This is very much about you. It goes to your fitness as a parent.
I own my own business. I pay taxes. The worst crime I've ever pled to was a misdemeanor. So what's a big deal?
Statistics show that if you were abused as a child, there's a high percentage you could grow up to become an abuser. Now, if the Quartermaines can prove that...
Prove what? That I was hit? You really think that means that I would hit my own kid? That I would raise my hands to a small little boy and actually hit him? I would die first.
And I believe you. But if you have an outburst like that in front of a judge, you will lose all hope of seeing your child, let alone raising him. I'm trying to help you, Sonny. So you're going to have to tell me what happened because I need to formulate a strategy to deal with it.
When I was 8, my mother married a cop, Deke Woods, Sergeant Timothy Deacon Woods. 4 months into the marriage, he hit both of us, and then it went on and on.
You saw your mother being abused?
He slapped her a lot. Sometimes he'd grab her by the arm and he'd throw her down or against something. Me, he'd hit. With a belt buckle, usually. He'd lock me in a closet first, and he'd go and get good and drunk, and then, I'd hear his footsteps. Walking down the hall, he'd open the door. The rule was I couldn't raise my hands. I had to stay there and take it. And if I ran, it made it worse.
How long did this go on for?
Till I left. Actually, no, till I fought back, and nearly killed him.
How old were you?
16.
8 years.
Does it work against me that it went on so long?
I seldom oppose Edward. He simply goes behind my back.
Then you won't help me.
Your children could be very happy here if you'd let them.
Lila, you and I will love Sonny's baby, but no one else will. They'll tolerate it, or they'll be ashamed. And the baby will know, and the baby will blame itself. You know, that's why you have to be very careful around children, because if something bad happens, children automatically think that it's their fault.
Yeah.
I'm right back where I started. I can't stay. I can't leave. I'm trapped. Except now my children are trapped too. Is Deke still alive?
Deke was shot in an alley 3 years after I left.
How about your mother?
She's dead, too. A couple years after Deke. But you know what? It's over. It doesn't matter.
Has the abuse ever been documented by social workers, teachers, anything like that?
Deke was a cop. The neighbors, they didn't call anybody, and I don't think my teachers knew. Because if I was hurting too bad, I'd just cut gym class.
No documentation is a good thing. Are there any witnesses that the Quartermaines could call? Did you tell anyone else about this?
Luke Spencer, but even if they could find him, I don't think, he's going to say anything. My father knows a little bit, but he's not going to help the Quartermaines. The only one who might is Taggart.
Lieutenant Taggart knows about this?
Yeah, he was Deke's protege. He blames me for Deke's death one night. We got into it, and he went on and on about what an honorable and upright man Deke was. And I said, you know what? He's a wife-beaten cop. But I don't think he believed me anyway. Who would ask Taggart about my childhood?
Any good attorney that does their homework, and you better believe that the Quartermaines are going to hire the best. And if they can use Taggart to establish your history of abuse, they can question you about it.
You know what? I just said it never happened.
Perjure yourself and you lose your child.
Are you going to tell me that Deke's going to cost me my kid because I couldn't stop him? I couldn't get my mother and me away? I'm not going to be able to raise my own child?
It's possible that the Quartermaine attorney will overlook Taggart. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. It's possible I could exclude him as a witness. He does have a history of harassing you. But if you are asked about your abuse, you answer it truthfully. A lie will blow the case.
I understand.
There are other factors. You are known to have a violent temper.
I've been in a few fights.
Recently?
Well, last summer I threw this FBI agent through a window.
Oh, for heaven's
Well, I mean,
sake.
you asked me. What do you want me to do?
If it could get any worse, you pled no contest to a misdemeanor count of endangering a minor. You employed one Karen Wexler as a stripper in your club when she was underage.
Yeah, I did.
So if she were called to testify, what could she share with the court?
That I slept with her, but only after she was 18, and that I did give her access to prescription medication. But that
Are you beginning to see the problem here? You are a career criminal. You have contributed to the delinquency of minors. There is a cop that can testify that you were abused as a child.
The only thing I know and care about is that I will take care of this child, and I will not be forced out of its life.
Here's what I'm going to suggest. I think it's going to be a lot easier for you if you try to strike up a compromise with Carly. If she will give you contact with the child, then I think it's a good thing for you, and I think you should...
Shh. Hello? What? All right, I'll take care of it. Ready to go to work?
Ugh, is the Quartermaine started up already?
Your other line of work.
Hey, I told you that I will defend you. I am not defending all the thugs that you employ.
This guy is a coffee bagger at my
The
warehouse.
last coffee bagger that I defended was a demolition expert that defused a bomb on New Year's Eve.
Well, you know what? That's great, because you know him, Roy DeLuca. He'll be reassured to see you.
I'm charging you double for this because my fee as a defense attorney is entirely separate for the time that I spend on your custody
You're the
case.
greatest.
Audrey, I'm here to see Dr. Meadows.
Oh, yes, for the paternity test.
Don't patients have any rights to privacy?
What's the matter, Carly?
The whole town knows that you are pregnant with Sonny Corinthos' child.
That's nice, Monica. That's great. It's really professional
If you'll
of
just
you.
wait in the lounge, I'll tell Dr. Meadows you're here.
Thank you.
Carly, why don't you spare everybody a lot of grief and give up your claim to Michael?
I will never give up either one of my children.
Oh, of all the people on this planet, I am the least likely to buy your sainted mother routine. You are a gold-digging tramp. And if it takes money to get you out of town, then I can certainly arrange that.
Where do you get off calling me a tramp? You wrote the book on sleeping around.
I have made my mistakes, yes. But I definitely wasn't married to one man, pretending to love another man while sleeping with a third.
Yeah, somehow I think that's just blind, stupid luck.
You know, actually, it's quite fitting that you were sleeping with Sonny. Trash seeks its own level.
My client was brought in for questioning, Roy DeLuca.
Why don't you give us something we can use? If it turns out to be good, we won't have to bounce your butt back to Pentonville.
Well, you know, I was taking a shortcut through the alley, and I found this envelope on the ground.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Taggart. You wouldn't be interrogating my client without benefit of counsel, would you?
No, actually, he was giving us a voluntary statement, and you are welcome to stay. I do question him being here, unless you got a law degree when no one was looking.
Why would I defend myself when Miss Davis does such an excellent job? When she gets paid so much money, I thought I'd come by and make sure she's earning her pay.
So you're here to make sure that you get your money's worth?
No, I'm here to make sure that my employee gets treated fairly.
By the way, what exactly does Mr. DeLuca do for you?
Load coffee.
I'm confused. Are you questioning Mr. Corinthos or Mr. DeLuca? Correction. You're taking a voluntary statement, correct?
That's right.
Then why don't you let him finish a sentence?
Mr. DeLuca?
Thank you. As I was saying, I was cutting through the alley, and I saw this envelope on the ground. Turns out it was full of cash. Got to be honest, I was thinking of sticking it in my pocket. But, better judgment and all that, I decided to give it to the harbor master, at which point he showed up and informed me that returning lost money was somehow a crime in this city.
Oh, boy. Is that the best you can come up with?
Sounds reasonable to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does, since he was carrying your payoff.
You let him call his lawyer and his boss?
I didn't let him call anybody.
So you admit to violating my client's rights?
Okay, before you climb on your soapbox, counselor, could we possibly get some work done? Thanks. Here's a surprise. Harbor Master Phillips disclaims all knowledge of the money. Says he never saw Mr. DeLuca until he handed him the envelope.
So you've arrested my client for being a good Samaritan?
Your client was caught dead to right handing over $10,000 of unmarked, non-sequential bills.
Congratulations. Honesty like that is a rare thing indeed.
I do what I can.
You should give him a medal.
That's me. Hold it. Wow. Alexis Davis.
Do you mind telling me how you knew we had Mr. DeLuca?
Yeah, Roy worked for me at the warehouse. One of my employees called and said that he was being unlawfully detained.
Thank you. They need you at the hospital.
You sure you can handle this?
No, I'm completely incompetent. Isn't that why you pay me? Go. So, anyone here can disprove my client's story? Witnesses, evidence. How about illegally obtained tape recordings? That's what I thought. Release my client.
I'll send you a copy of the test results as soon as they're in.
That's okay. I don't need a copy of the results. I know what they're going to say. This is really just for the courts. But you think you can tell me how the baby's doing?
Well, everything seems fine. The baby's in perfect health.
That's good. I've been really kind of stressed out lately, and I've heard that stress isn't really good for babies, so...
Well, the more you relax, the better it'll be for you and for your baby. I'll see you next month for your checkup.
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Ralston, please call extension 5732. Dr. Ralston, please call extension 5732.
Hey, Daddy.